All right, good afternoon. We are out here in the lull. The rain has been torrentially coming down here. We are under tornado warnings here in this county now because of the hurricane. And but we haven't heard about any hitting, but they're all around us. And we just got tired of sitting in the house and decided to come out and make a video and review the Square Dot Pro Series temperature probes. Now, I built a barbecue grill out of a front end loader. I made some videos on that, and there was no way to know the temperature inside that front end loader when you build a fire under it. And we had a couple of too hot cooks, and then one time it was not hot enough. And of course, we would learn, well, you don't have to have this, but it might make it a little easier, less time consuming when we begin to cook. The front end loader is big enough to cook a whole hog in. And we really like the front end loader grill. But I got on the internet and looked for a way to, for a thermometer, and a company out in Utah sold me this. And they said this would be right when I described what I needed. And I'm going to give you a review of it. Now, I did look this up. When I opened this box up to see how to work it, I couldn't figure out how it worked. So I looked up a video on YouTube that supposedly reviewed it, and it was no help to me at all, because the guy that did it assumed that every idiot out there knew how these things worked. And the only thing he was mostly showing was the different colors of it. Now, they do come in different colors. So this is a review and a show for idiots like me that have never used any kind of a temperature probe thermometer, and to show you how it works. And I did run into a couple of rough places where I couldn't figure it out. Now, I don't know if I said the date, but it's the 26th of September 2024. And we are expecting, we've had off and on torrential rain throughout the day, and we are expecting the high winds to come about midnight here. And we want to pray for the people down in Florida that are going to have the 20-foot 20-foot waves come in on shore around the Big Bend of Florida. Maybe it won't be as bad. Sometimes the weather people exaggerate, and they probably have a good reason, because they want people to get ready for it. But we're hoping and praying that, well, of course, we don't want any tornadoes running through here either. They have been dropping around us this afternoon. And we want to think about those people down in the Big Bend of Florida. And apparently it's going to go right on up through Albany, Georgia. Okay, I'm going to show you what problems I had with this thing, if you get one, and how it works, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works, and I'm not going to assume that you already know how it works. Okay, now this is where I ran into a problem. Here's your monitor, and this says 106 degrees Fahrenheit and 197, I guess that's Celsius. But anyway, whatever it says, this is what threw me off. I assumed that by pushing these buttons that you would set the alarm and you could change the temperature that you were looking for, but nothing was happening. I finally realized that there's a piece of plastic on here. See it? It says 106. That comes off. Watch this. Now it's a blank screen. That threw me big time right there. Now, probably none of you are dumb enough to not realize that that comes off right there. But once I got that thing off, I realized how this thing worked. Okay. You turn it on back here. There's a light bulb looking thing back here. And then this says average. That's a way to average your temperature. It's got magnets on the back so that you can stick this thing onto a piece of metal. You don't stick it on your barbecue grill now that's hot because it'll melt this, but something close by, you can stick it on with a magnet so you can read it. Okay, so you turn it on just by pushing the light bulb icon back there, and there it comes on, and then it comes up with no temperature. All right, now the probes. The top probe is, and the top is this one, the one on top right here. That's where you plug it in. It's up right here, top probe. This is the meat probe. This is the one with a point on it. This is the one you stick into your ham to measure the temperature. You can monitor it while it's inside the grill. Set it at 100 and 200 degrees, whatever you want for whatever meat you're cooking. And then you're going to know that the thickest part of your meat is cooked. So right now it says no probe, both of them, top and the bottom, no probe. So we're going to push it in and it clicks at the end. And now it says that it does have a probe, or it doesn't say no probe. This is the bottom one. This is the short one here. This one here is to measure the temperature inside your oven. It has a clip that goes like this. So that you can stick this, see, like if you've got a griddle or a grill, you can stick it like that in the grill and it'll hold it above the metal grill. They don't want you to touch this to the actual metal because the metal will be a lot hotter and it might burn this thing up. They don't want you to kink these wires here, and they don't want you to touch these to a piece of metal inside the oven because it can get it too hot. In the instructions, it said this could withstand up to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? So that's how that works. And this goes back in the box like this. I think these are 3 or 4 feet long, these wires. So you keep this on the outside of your grill, maybe on a table or on a piece of metal that you can stick it to that's not touching the oven. This will melt. And then you run this in through a hole or somewhere into your meat, and this one here you fix near your griddle so you can see how hot it actually is in the air or the ambient temperature. The long one goes in the meat. Now, to show you how it works, I'm going to show you here. I've got it turned on, and this says "83 degrees." Well, that's the temperature in the truck. So this one right here says 83, the top one. Now, if I stick this, if I put these between my fingers, if I touch this and put it between my fingers, which are warm, it's going up. 90 degrees, 92, 93, okay? 94, that's because my fingers are warm. Take it out, let go, and it's going to go down. We take this one and put it in our fingers, and it starts going up. 88, 89, 90. Now, it's not going to go up to 98.6 or whatever my body temperature is because your fingers are not warm enough. You'd have to stick it under your tongue. I guess you could use this for a thermometer in an emergency to see how, stick that under your kid's tongue right there. Now I'm going to show you now. This is how you set the temperature of the alarm. This has an alarm feature. All right? And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. Now, before I show you how to set the alarm on this thing, I'm going to read you a little Bible verse here from the Gospel of John 10:7. Well, I just start at 10:1, the beginning of the chapter, and see how far I go. It's titled, Jesus, the True Shepherd. And this is what Jesus says. Most assuredly, I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hears his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. And when he brings out his own sheep, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. Yet they will by no means follow a stranger, but will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of strangers. Jesus used this illustration, but they did not understand the things which he spoke to them. Tell you real quick what that means. Jesus says that he says to you, he does not enter the sheepfold by the door. Most assuredly, I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold, that's the sheep pen, by the door, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. Jesus is saying there's only one way to get to the sheepfold or the sheep pen, which in this case represents heaven, the kingdom of heaven. So he's saying there that some people are trying to get into that sheep pen another way than by going in by believing in Jesus. And that would be specifically by their own works. They're trying to reach heaven by being good, by their own works, or by worshiping other gods, by the works of their hands. Now, another way that people are trying to do that is by science. They're trying to send rockets up to other planets. They're trying to reach other worlds through portals with the giant Hadron Collider over in Switzerland. And they think that by science they're going to find out or figure out the mystery or life. And that is another way. But Jesus assures us that he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. The door is Jesus. That's the only way to eternal life. Now you can send all the rockets you want to the moon and to Mars, and you can make all of the colliders that you want. They keep thinking that they're going to figure out the meaning of life or figure out the mystery of how to create life. But they're not going to get it that way. But you can get it very simply by just asking Jesus and believing that Jesus is the one who controls the door to heaven. And continuing down, Jesus said to them again, most assuredly I say to you, I am the door of the sheep. All who ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. The thief does not come except to steal and kill and to destroy. I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. So Jesus is saying once again, there's only one way to heaven, and that's through him. I believe this to be true, and I believe that Jesus is that doorway. And in my estimation of the situation that I'm here on earth, the only way I have out is to believe in Jesus. I believe he is God's Son. I believe he is the Messiah, and I believe that there's no other way. Now, if you use your common sense, you're going to realize that they're not going to figure out how to make life through science. But they'll tell you that they are, and they'll tell you that they're going to go to other planets and all that kind of stuff. Well, you notice they haven't done it. And a lot of the things they say they're doing, they're just flat out lying. It says here, Jesus said, they are thieves and robbers. And I'll add liars too, claiming all of the things that they've done with science. A lot of it is not true at all. He says that his sheep hear his voice, that his sheep do not hear the voice of a stranger calling them. Jesus' sheep are those that have been placed in his care, in his hands. Some of them have come to him, some of them are the lost sheep. But when they hear the stories about Jesus, the lost sheep will eventually be found and cry out to Jesus for salvation. All right, that's my scripture for the day. It's self-explanatory if you have the key to understand what he's talking about. Now I'm going to get back here and show you how to set the alarm on this extremely not complicated probe. Now see, both of them are reading 80 degrees now, and that's the temperature here in the truck. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the alarm, or it's at 81 degrees. Now I'm going to set the alarm at 90 degrees. All right, let's see what we got here. So I pushed the button. I've forgotten now how to do it. All right, come on now. You got to push both buttons. Both buttons gets it going. I'm going to go down to 90. I'll tell you why. I'm going to grab this probe, this long one, in my fingers, and when it gets to 90 degrees, listen, it'll go off. 87. It went off. And that alarm's going to keep going until I stop it. I pushed both buttons and it went off. Now I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to set this alarm. You have to push both of them. And then the temperature comes up. It's at 92 right there. I'm going to bring it to 90. This button brings it down, this button brings it up. Now this is this one. This is the one that's plugged into the bottom, the one I just did right here. Now I'm going to grab it, going up. Now that alarm's going to keep on alarming until, I guess, until your battery wears out, or either you turn it off. Turning it off. One button did it. No, that just turned off the beeper. Two buttons, mash them both, turns it to off. Turn it back on. It's going off because it's at 89 degrees here. Off. Let's set this. Let's go back to this one right here. This is the top one, the meat probe. It's at 83 now. I'm going to set the alarm. The alarm ain't moving. The reason is I haven't pushed both buttons, both of them. Now, it's at, I'm going down, I'm going to set it at 85. It's at 82, the truck is at 82, the probe is at 82. Now I'm going to touch it until it goes to 85. There it goes. I want it off. Push both buttons. Turn it off. Now this is still flashing. Push this one twice to make it quit flashing. You'll get the hang of it. I've forgotten it, but it's not complicated at all. Alarm off. I'm going to set the alarm again on the top one. Push both of them. It's already at 89. Why isn't it? Okay. Alarm off. Two times. I'm not real swift on these things, but look, you'll figure it out pretty quick. I mean, there's only a couple of commands. All right, that's how it works right there. I think this thing was around $150, might have been $130, I've forgotten. It uses a couple of, let's turn it off, okay? Screen's on. Push the light bulb back here for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and it's off. No battery in use right now. Now they said in the operating instructions that this battery would these batteries would last about a year. I think they're AAA batteries, and it's in the instructions. And of course, if you use a little Phillips head screwdriver or a small flathead, either one of them will work. You can open it up and see what batteries they are and how they need to be replaced. All right, this is the Square Dot Pro Series temperature probes, available only from ThermoWorks. Now they also have, the lady at the place in Utah that sells these things said that they are coming out with some that will, the probe will, doesn't have any wires. It sends out a signal, you know, like a Wi-Fi signal, and it'll send it through the metal of your grill to the internet or to the cloud, and you can actually read your temperature remotely from your phone, even if you're a long way away. I don't need that. That would really mess me up. I'm barely able to use my telephone now. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope this helps some of you decide whether you want to get one of these or not. And remember to take the little piece of paper off. I'm probably the only idiot in the world that ever left that on there and got confused about how this thing worked. All right, this is Gardener Israel signing off.